So let's start with the domestic and steel demand. What is happening for the 2020, finished steel consumption has been down since the first quarter of this year. Now, if we compare the first 7 months of 2020 with the first 7 months of 2019, the consumption down by 14% in the same period. This downward trend has been occurring since 2017, but because if you remember, we were talking the last time about the construction sector that has been in a low demand since 2018 because there is not a very good projects in there. So we are forecast the consumption of the Mexican apparent steel use to 21.6 millions. That's 5 million less from the peak of 2017. That was to 26.5 million metric tons. And the recovery of that figure, it could be maybe we are seeing the forecast for the 2026 something like the 26.6 million metric tons. So that's a recovery that we are expecting. According to the Canacero, the latest projection of the effects of the low economy growth and the COVID-19 pandemic will only allow a recovery for the maximum level until 2026. So that's if we see the same the chart monthly, we are seeing in the July the bottom of the demand with just 1.5 million of metric tons in Mexico. That was the maybe the worst month since 10 years ago. Forecast that we see is until 2025, the production levels of the 2017-18 will regain. That means that our forecast for this year will be 2.9 million, is 1 million less the figure of 2017. As we discussed in our last webinar, the month of May of this year was the worst production month in Mexico. There is a point in there that the Bank of Mexico estimated the recovery of Mexican GDP to the level of 2018 will take between 2 to 6 years. So we are not going to see a quick recovery in the GDP of Mexico.
So now, due to the COVID, there is available capacity of semi-products here in Mexico, many countries. But as demand recovers, they won't be available. I don't know, or will decrease the amount available. So I believe this poses as an opportunity for the Western steel industry. I believe there are interesting times ahead of us, and I sense and hope that we can enjoy this opportunity. Well, now getting down to Mexico, I would like to share some economic data and thoughts, okay, about our economy. If you look at the past, from 1994 to 2019, the Mexican GDP has an average growth of 2.3% on average, which is very good. If you compare to any other country in Latin America, I believe it's great. Last year, 2019, the GDP was less 0.1%, so flat. We didn't grow. And this year, due to the COVID, we expect like minus 10%. And for the next year, like plus 3%. And the COVID lockdown was the main cause. So like Daniel said, we saw the same decrease in demand. Now it's recovering, not as fast as we want, but yes, there is a recovery, and hope the next year is better. Looking at the Mexican economy as a whole, I believe fiscal-wise, we are good. We expect in Mexico a primary fiscal surplus in 2020. even with the pandemic. So I believe this government has a very strong budgetary austerity and this strategy and this discipline is paying off right now. On the investment side, the public investment side, we have some main projects under construction, like the Pemex new refinery in Tabasco, the Mayan train, and also the Santa Lucia airport. Okay. Like my colleagues commented, Mexico has signed the new NAFTA agreement. We call here TMAC. It's the same as the USMCA. I believe it's more popular, and it's how it's called in the US. And like Daniel said, there is new rules of origin, the content. We are trying to avoid that imported steel came from Mexico and then go to the US. So there is a lot of restriction in that sense. I believe it's very good for the bloc. But overall, the main deal is the same as the NAFTA. It's very good for Mexico. The US is our top trading partner, and they are also the top source of foreign direct investment. Just for you to know, 2018, the amount was like $118 billion.
Okay, there we go. This year, it's been a challenging year, and right now the sales forecast for the auto sector is now close to 32.7%, which is huge. And back in 2008, with the last big crisis, the auto sector went down roughly 25%. But what made this really different and more difficult was that we went pretty much 4 months of 0% sales. Right now, everybody is aiming for having a higher regional content. Some companies were closer to that, to complying with that, and some other companies were a little far off. But the trend is for all of them to be looking for local suppliers and to try to be totally regional. So the companies that were a little behind in this regional content are now making a big effort, especially the Europeans and Asians. Americans were mostly close to complying, most of them, but there's a big effort everywhere where companies are looking for all these regional suppliers, and a lot of them are looking in Mexico. So these are some of the encouraging news that we see out there, and it's happening as of now. We have our own company. We're getting calls from Japanese companies, from German companies, looking for local suppliers. So this is becoming more of a trend. Toyota made a huge investment to increase production capacity for the Tacoma pickup in their new plant in Guanajuato. Ford also moving some of their production from Europe to Mexico. Bombardier also made a huge investment in Juarez, where they're planning to double their capacity for their Can-Am utility vehicles. So this is happening right now, and these are some of the good news. And you start to see not only in automotive, also in different sectors where everybody's trying to be more local or regional.
And regarding recycling and scrap collection, yes, there was a decrease, mainly for all the industrial scrap decreased because the industry was shut down. And also the obsolete grades, also we saw a decrease because there is with times of uncertainty, you are not willing to change your refrigerator or to change your car. So there is less scrap from the obsolete grades and from the industrial grades. So in Mexico has a scrap deficit. So the answer is to import. So we are importing, and I believe most of the players are also importing scrap from the US. If there is a second wave, it will depend on what will be the government decision regarding a lockdown. I believe from the beginning of the pandemic, there is a lot of knowledge that was developed that we didn't have, information that we didn't have when the pandemic began.
Yes, it is true. We are receiving more requires for the last quarter of this year, and guessing that they are expecting a second wave of the pandemic, and we are seeing that not just for the last quarter, also for the first quarter of 2021, and they are trying to catch some of the opportunities in there for the for that market, and to have more available automotive to the customers, and to have the advantage of maybe that pandemic. That is true. We are receiving more requires from our customers from different service centers that we have here in Mexico.
I think that what happened earlier this year was that the auto companies, if they hold a 1 month inventory at their factories of finished product, but then you shut down the everything for 4 months. Even if if the sales of the auto dealers are 50% down, you still don't have enough inventory to cover those sales. So it's true what you're saying. They're right now building up numbers, ramping up production. I think that even if they were forced to shut down for some reason, they want to be ready and have enough inventory to be able to supply their dealers.